How about we listen before we comment? Sorry, babe. I love you, but there's some people out there that we know are just gonna take it down a little bit far and not quite understand the point of this video. So let me make it 100% clear. I'm hoping to see another Need for Speed Heat update, and I'm pretty sure everyone is too. I'm gonna pass away the corona. I'm gonna pass away the closure of Ghost and the move to Criterion, because we need to discuss, plain and simple, is there something coming? Do I think there's something coming? When is it bloody coming? Now you'll be happy to know that there are a few things floating around recently that make me think that there may possibly be something coming. Not just a, we're just gonna do some bug fixes and bugs. First things first then. Right, let's get into it. So, Need for Speed Heat was added to the list of games that Criterion say they developed on their website. Now, this is an interesting one in a few aspects. I would say mostly because Criterion generally add games to their websites when they properly make them or when they've assisted development. Now, as far as we know, at least up until this point, they haven't mentioned any doings, any workings on this game. And that would make sense because they were a studio of Ghost UK, which is separate in the EA building in the UK. Ghost UK was its own thing. So why on earth would Criterion be helping? So they've recently added it to the website, which helps make me think maybe they're going to be doing some update stuff. Ooh, I don't know. Now, the other stuff they've done, they've worked on the handling model in the flight simulator thing on Battlefield and the like. Everything else, they actually confirmed working on it. Up until this point, we have not heard anything about Criterion and Need for Speed Heat. So, are they doing updates because they've taken the reins of the franchise? Are they now in charge? Or does it just mean they're doing the maintenance? Because it's been 3 months. You're like, what does that have to do with bloody anything? 3 months is a significant number for a few aspects. Now, if you look at any other game, Forza, Need for Speed, The Crew, any racing game, I will say, it's become the industry norm for 3 months to be the big updates. No patches. I'm not talking about, let's do a little tiny fix. 3 months, a content update is added to the game. And I think we are pretty close to one, if everything else is not just in my head and I'm just swirling it like a... The Crew 2, big updates every 3 months. Forza, they actually do something other than rehashing cars every 3 months. The only time that every 3 months wasn't the case for these 3 current racing games was Need for Speed when the game launched late November and the update came out in March, which it was meant to be a February update if you do so recall, and also they did some patches along the way, and also generally a lot of the developers take some time off after the initial launch of the game because they've just worked on this game hard for like 2 months and had no breaks. So it lines up. This one is one of the most significant factors in that EA Play is 12 days away from this very video creation time that I'm talking to you over the interwebs. EA Play is but 12 days away. That is less than 2 weeks. And if you look at a calendar, you'll be like, hang on, that's June. Hang on, that's E3 season. That's right, E3 season. Now, there is listen, think about it here, my friend. I can tell you that more than likely not, we won't really be getting anything new from EA or Ubisoft or anything. We're going to get continuations of current franchises. We're going to get delays to quite a few games, which has already happened because they're going to want to move their games to the next generation launch windows. So EA, on this hand, has all their sports games that are going to be released on the new gen consoles, and probably not much else. What do they do in that time to keep the revenue rolling in? People buying the games that are currently already out and paying for microtransactions in games that are currently already out. They update the games. Now, this would make sense. In a transitional part of the generation, it's the point where PlayStation, after The Last of Us, has got like no plans for any of the games, I think Ghost of Tsushima maybe, until next generation. Microsoft is already focusing all development on the new generation. Of course, they're going to come to the last generation, but the focus for all developers right now is getting ready to move focus to the new gen and then downport to the old ones. Of course, it doesn't really work like that. But the point is the focus is going to be the new consoles. And it would make sense to keep people trying to keep people in and playing the old games, because the old games are going to be playable on the new console. And until they release new games on the new console, that's what you're going to be playing. That's how they're going to make their money. All the things you can buy in the PlayStation Store and the Xbox Store right now will be purchasable on the new gen. So, to round it off, you would think that they were trying to keep this thing going a little bit longer, in the possibility that they could even release a special version of the game that has all the DLC and everything, and release it on the end of the year when the new consoles come out. Ah, you see. So, I think, in conjunction with EA Play, we may possibly get some information about an update. And that is where I draw my line in the sand. Towards the end of this video, I'll talk a little bit more about my final hope, but this is the final hope for me. If there is nothing mentioned at EA Play, I am putting my shovel in the I'm going to bury my shovel in the sand, and I'm going to call it that. Need for Speed Heat, killed by Criterion and EA. Moving over to Twitter. Now, if you follow the Twitter or the social medias of Need for Speed, you'll know that they do a build of the week. And that's something that Max, the community manager, does for the game. And it keeps the game going, keeps the community interactivity popping, because that's what we need. You need some flowing in the ocean, if you will. So, that stopped for a while. In fact, the last date that there was one announced was the 7th of April. A few days later, it was obviously published the results of it. And between that time, there has been a couple of meme posts, but nothing until the 22nd of May. That is over a month. That is a long time. And they say, we're back after a short break. I then see everything amp up on the Need for Speed socials, wherever the socials are, not just the European socials, but other socials as well, which I'll get into. It just makes you think. All of these things ticking. Remember, in a previous video, we spoke about this before, that crossplay was mentioned on the Xbox Store. Out of nowhere. We'd never seen this before. How had no one ever seen this before until now? And now it's still a thing. How does that make sense? All of these things. I'm stirring up me pot. I'm stirring it up. Do you like spicy food? I'll put in some spices. Now, the next one is more of an honorable mention, but it is worth mentioning nonetheless. Now, I've seen the differences between the Spanish Twitter account for Need for Speed and the normal worldwide global Need for Speed account. The Spanish Twitter is hilarious. They post memes all the time. It's incredible. But here's the thing. They came back after a much shorter break because they just do nothing but memes. It's kind of hilarious. You should probably follow it. I love it. So basically, if you look it through their recent tweets, they're talking about, oh, send cars, and usually there's a meme of someone sending a Supra or something, but for some strange reason, EA decided to tweet from their Spain account a Supra, and then the Battlefield Spain account decided to tweet a Supra. Something, again, it could just be playing along with the meme, so I made an honorable mention. But it's intriguing, isn't it? Because, as you know, Forza got the license for Toyota to be back in the game. And they added all the Toyotas back. They're gradually adding them back from previous games. So it's kind of, again, rehashed stuff. But in Need for Speed, they also have some Toyotas that are just sat, and they cannot use them. Surely, it would make sense for them to do the same thing. Add in the rehashed Toyotas. I don't think any game is going to add the new A90 edition. I think we're going to have to wait till the next Forza games to get those, because obviously those are big things, and they could definitely make it a cover car for the next Need for Speed. So I think they'll hold off from that, but I do think it would be stupid not to all this time attempt to get the Toyota license back and just plump in those cars. Super nice, super clean, super easy. That could be done, and I expect that it is very, very possible for them to do that, because the cars are technically there, they're just not. Does that make any sense? As I was saying earlier in the video, if none of these amounts to anything, and it's all just coincidence, and it's all just timing of resuming of work and the like. Of course, people would have taken time off work and worked at home because of this whole situation that's been going on around the world, just in case you didn't know. But a lot of these jobs are doable at home. It's quite easy to move technology-based stuff, game development, maybe not the mass creation of the early stuff, but the patchwork. It's pretty simple to dab around at home and remote access and the like. This will kill my final strand of hope if nothing comes from these. I will stop making these videos and getting myself excited about little things I found around the internet, because this has to be it. If nothing is announced at EA Play, that's kind of a missed. I'll be very shocked. I wouldn't be very shocked, but that would be kind of crossing the line of like, okay, I expect nothing to happen. If something came out a couple of days after because they didn't want to cram it into the conference, I'd be like, well, you should have done that a little bit sooner. If nothing comes out next month at all, yeah. It's annoying because this is the most solid Need for Speed in a long time. 2015 was great, but it had its flaws. Payback was a bit of a misstep. This game, this was Ghost's perfectionado of Need for Speed as much as they could do with the time and the resources they had. But it would be a shame to throw this down the toilet, considering this game, overall, in terms of gameplay and story and the package of a good Need for Speed game, there hasn't been a solid package Need for Speed game since Need for Speed Carbon. And you can argue with that all you like, but I'm going to tell you, Pro Street, handling, not great. Not much depth in the open world. People miss the open world. Undercover, do I even need to mention Undercover? Again, Hot Pursuit, great, good game. The open world, what on earth was that? What was the point in that at all? Where's the customization? The Run, great. Short story, you know, I love that game, but short story. 2015, what was that handling? I digest. I don't want to speak about everything in this video because I feel like I'm beating a dead horse. Maybe literally in this case. But what I'm going to tell you is roughly what I think there's going to be if there is an update. We've already mentioned about the crossplay thing, how it pops up on the Xbox store. We do know that there's cars that weren't released. We even can access some of those, and there's even the bikes that for some reason weren't. That we know there's a lot of vehicles that are hidden. And speed lists was 100% on the cards, considering that so many people really wanted speed lists. So there's a whole bunch of things they could do. I've already mentioned about that. I think crossplay would be the big feature. Crossplay with speed lists and new cars. To me, that would be a nice send-off just to give us something. But if not, it's a damn shame, because Need for Speed Heat was the most solid Need for Speed there was, but got the worst support, which is rather bizarre. Also, Black Market, one car. Like, where's the rest of them? Surely you're gonna carry that. All right, thanks so much for watching. Let me know your thoughts down below in the comments. Do you think I am crazy, or do you think maybe there's a bit of sense going on here? All right, be sure to smash like, subscribe if you are new, and I will see you in the next Need for Speed Heat video. And until next time, peace.